of sand. Hey, hey, and I don't really give a and I don't really give a and I don't really give a no, I don't really give a I don't really give a damn. Got my pocket full of sand. I don't really give a damn. You can read it in my hand. I don't really give a damn. Got my pocket full of sand. I don't really give a damn. You can read it in my hand. I don't really give a damn. Got my pocket full of sand. I don't really give a damn. You can read it in my hand. Oh, I don't really give a damn. Got my pocket full of sand. I don't really give a damn. Got my pocket full of
Well, what's going on, guys? Let me get this fired up behind me. It's me by myself right now. I'm supposed to be having some guests log in, and they haven't shown up yet. But let me get. I forgot to get this turned on. There we go. Let's get that running. That is a real television behind me, believe it or not. How you doing, Alex McDonald? Gonna cover the what will most likely be the shit show of a State of the Union address tonight, assuming that we don't get a copyright strike from YouTube or Facebook or somebody. Supposed to have Chris Lowry coming on from the Brushfire Mind this evening, and Larry Cox, who's paired up his channels. He should be jumping on, and I'm hoping they realize to click the link I sent them, because they're usually not late, but whatever. Here we are. Let me jump over to the chat real quick. This is where they would be, and let's say hi to some of our friends who are here. Let's see. Janine is here. Hey, Janine. Thank you for being here. Steve is with us. What's going on, brother? Lisa Lancaster is here. Hi, Lisa. Megan Walker. Hey, Megan. Okay, hold on. I just got a message from Larry. Let me, he's trying to use the wrong link. Let me just update him. Sorry about this. Oh, and .live/join. Sorry about that. There we go. Lisa Lancaster, Megan Walker, David Siver is here. Bill Campbell's here. What's going on, brother? Patrick Brown is with us. Hey, Patrick. Steve is here. What's going on, man? Mitch McCarty is with us. Hey, Mitch, good to see you. Holly's here from justforfunradio.com. Hi, Holly. John Monroe saying this might be the night where he could catch a band. Yeah, you never know, right? Jessica's here. Hi, Jess. Jamie Wilbanks is with us. I think I said hi to Patrick, but hey again, brother, good to see you. Mary Boysworth is here. Hi, Mary. Chris not late. Have you ever met him? He's never been late for one of these. Let's put it that way. Princess Sandy is here. Hi, Sandy. Hey, Janine. Rich Archer, the manager of Just for Fun Radio, is over here. What's going on, brother? And I think I touched on everybody. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. If I did, yell at me in the chat, and we'll go from there. So I have YouTube pulled up over here, and I have this ready for us to pick on the former vice president. I don't know what I'm expecting tonight. I kind of do know what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a lot of gaslighting this evening. An awful lot of gaslighting of the American public. I'll tell you why. Because we had a preview of it, and I wish I'd have sent this video over earlier. I guess I can send it. I think I downloaded it. Is this it? Hold on. Bear with me a second.
Pictures here. A lot of yellow, a lot of blue. That is a show of support.
It's the wrong button.
People who are notwithstanding the fact that...
Yeah. He did this. Let me send this over. I'm completely unprepared for this show. Let me send this over. Let's take a look at this video real quick. There's Chris Lowry joining in, I believe. Let me bring him in and assign him a seat, and we'll jump over to that in a second. Let me grab this video, drag this over, and tell you this is kind of what I'm expecting tonight. A whole bunch of this. Locate file, downloads. Let me play this.
Is a phenomenal negative psychological impact that COVID has had on the public psyche. And so you have an awful lot of people who are, notwithstanding the fact that things have gotten so much better for them economically, that they are thinking, but how do you get up in the morning feeling happy? Right. Happy that everything's all right.
I'm expecting a lot of that tonight. Chris Lowry in the house. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, brother. So apparently I don't know if I just missed it by a couple minutes or what, but it wouldn't let it kept saying waiting for the host.
Oh, on my end? Did it really?
Yeah, I was sitting there in the green room through Restream. I was trying to set it up so that we would do the pairs thing, but it didn't want to play ball.
Oh,
I think I was a little late to the game.
Yeah,
I'm fueled tonight by 100% U.S. oil profits.
There you go. Larry's here. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Man, I come into your thing, my Restream won't work.
Restream's not working. You paired your channel. It should. You are streaming to your channels. I've got guests on here. I've got.
But it wouldn't let me log in. I mean, I can usually log in my Restream. Won't let me log in. Don't know why.
Interesting. Well, I mean, y'all didn't have to this evening because I'm hosting here. All you had to do was pair your channels, and you should. Chris, were you able to pair yours?
Apparently not.
Oh, mine paired. I did that earlier today. Now, it may be something because of the pairing that it wouldn't let me do the login or something. I'm not certain.
Okay. All right. Well, we're here now. Get your cameras all sorted out, and we'll get going. I think. Well, I mean, I saw the, or at least I thought I saw the former vice president, walking into the Capitol there a second ago. But PBS appeared to have cut away from him. So let's go to.
How's this going to work? Do I need to watch it on my own over here?
No. Well, I'll have it up here.
Okay.
I'll have it up here with some audio.
Oh, there it is.
All right, so people are coming in. All right, so I'm expecting an awful lot of gaslighting from him this evening, Chris. You saw that video I just played, right? Larry, I don't think you saw it, but it was basically Joe Biden saying it was effectively Joe Biden saying the economy's fantastic, but people don't realize it because they are affected psychologically by COVID, and we don't realize how good we have it.
Oh my God, he did not really say that.
I mean, effectively, yes. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he said. And you listen. I would say you can't make it up. I played it. People heard him say it, but there's a lot of empty seats. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were told so. A number of Republicans said they weren't going to show up, right, Chris, because of the
Right.
there
Well,
are.
so what's happened is in a painfully obvious bout of virtue signaling and frankly just trying to spin the narrative. The DC has dropped the COVID vaccine mandate and the mask mandates. However, despite having dropped those mandates, they're still requiring everybody that attends the State of the Union address to be COVID tested.
That's right.
To test negative for COVID. Now, to be clear, they're saying that everybody has to test, and so a lot of the Republican members that would have been joining the State of the Union address otherwise said, "No, hell no, I'm not going to test asymptomatic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go to the doctor every day and say, hey doc, I don't have any symptoms of anything at all. I feel like I'm in perfect health. And so I need to be tested for a disease."
Right.
Shit up your nose.
Yeah, shit up your nose. Yeah, I know five House Republicans and one Senator, Marco Rubio, who have said they won't be attending because of the COVID rules. Wow, PBS's feed is acting up by the looks of it. Let's see.
I see Holly Fletcher just asked what in the world is on Chris Lowry's head. Well, so I had this great joke set up where I'm drinking out of this giant coffee cup that says U.S. oil profits on it. And I was going to wear my ear floppy, furry Russian hat, but my toddler ran away with it. So I stole her fucking teddy bear hat.
All right. Why not? Let's see. Michelle Brand's here. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I don't think I've missed anyone. Let's see what while they're warming up, everybody's just strolling into the house like this is going to be a big deal. Janine says, I don't know if I have the stomach for this.
Alex, are we on Rumble as well tonight?
I'm not. If you guys, I don't know if you guys paired your, I don't know if you paired your Rumble, but you said you weren't able to get anything paired.
I ran into a hiccup with the pairing.
Yeah, because you have to pair your channels well in advance, unfortunately.
I'll just have to remember that in the future.
Yeah.
Looks like my audience, whoever would have been watching from my channel, found their way over here for the most part. I see Rhodey and Patrick and Seaver and them. So we got a pretty good peel off of my usual audience. And frankly, I know a lot of my people that watch early in the morning also have children and are probably going to bed now.
Right. Well, listen, I don't think this is going to take very long because what can he possibly say? I've been in just over a year. I fucked the nation up, and y'all are paying for it. So well done.
Well, I mean, he's failed. He's failed a lot, so he's going to have to do a lot of gaslighting.
Well, can he stay awake long enough?
Yeah. Can he stay on his feet that long?
Hunter's got him plied with Parmesan. He'll be rocking and rolling on meth till the cows come home.
Yeah.
No, this is well past his bedtime. I don't know how this is going to go over, man. I'm just being honest. I mean, it's 9:00 right now. I mean, the State of the Union needs to be rolled back to around 3 p.m. with this guy being in office.
He's in the green
Get him
room
for the early bird special at the Golden Corral.
He needs to go. Yeah, he does need that.
He's in the green room doing lines right now, is what he's doing. Oh, God, there's our Secretary of State, the useless twat. Proving just how useless of a twat he actually is right now with the Ukraine war going on.
Yep.
Pam
it's
is
all
here.
about Russian. You know, for example, like I am Russian on my mother's teddy bear side. And
Yes.
in Mother Russia, it's all about the potato. You have you make a vodka from potato. You have we play chess. You carve chess piece from potato. Even you have this solid fuel, and you think, oh, Russian has Sputnik. It's Spud. Nick. Spud is word for
Sputnik.
potato, and Nick is it's Russia, so it's also word for potato. My left testicle is prosthetic potato.
Jesus. Unbelievable. Oh man, all they're doing is coming in, shaking the hands, doing that nonsense. I wanted them to get
Useless
to the
people smiling at each other with their cheap veneers.
need them to get to the meat of this thing because I'm really curious. Do we think he's even going to talk about Ukraine
He will.
with any substance
absolutely will.
whatsoever?
He
Any
can't afford not
substance.
to. He has to spin it. And part of what he's going to do is he's going to try to pretend like all of the inflation is actually the result of the Ukrainian crisis. He's going to try to blame everything that's happened for the last year and a half that's gone wrong in this country, that's been a direct result of his bad policies. He's
On
going to
the
go out of
last
his way to
15
try and
minutes.
pretend like all of that is the result of Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting annoyed already, and it hadn't even started.
Yeah, if anybody smells gas, it's because it's about to get lit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so it's not PBS's feed messing up. It's my feed messing up, but it's coming over on NDI perfectly. So I'm not too worried about it. Let's make sure the audio's there. Yep. I'm assuming the people watching can hear that audio. Let me know in the chat if that's coming through. There he is. There's the man himself. The man that called China and gave him a heads up.
Don't call John Roberts Injustice. It makes him sound like a DC hero.
General Milley. I wonder how many phone calls
the future's dark, but it's not that dark.
I wonder how many phone calls General Milley has made to Russia over the last couple of weeks, giving them a heads up of what Joe Biden plans on doing during the Ukraine crisis. I'm not saying he's made any, but he probably has. He probably has. Oh, Larry, let's plug Thursday night real quick before we forget about it.
Yeah, Senator David Perdue will be coming to Amici's. He will be coming to speak to the folks, and they actually sent a text blast out to a lot of voters in Rockdale County today also, Alex, promoting the event. I had a bunch of people call me today and tell me they got the text, they intend on coming. I advise anybody who wants to come and actually wants to sit down, get there early because the room is going to fill up.
Yeah, that seems a little bit strange considering they were offered a larger venue and declined to send.
And that's going to be one of the questions I'm going to ask him when he takes questions. I'm going to, hey, you were offered a larger venue. Why don't you want to win this race?
Yeah, why don't you want to win this race? I mean, it just seems odd to me. Offered perfectly accommodating, offer a larger venue, and the man declines it. And
it was his staff. We got to admit, it was his staff. I did not speak to him directly. It was a staffer that refused the larger venue.
Maybe they're hearing the audio. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Maybe their experience is that they don't fill very large rooms and they were hedging their bets possibly.
I've went to a couple of his events and a lot of people come to them. So, I mean, that's what I was concerned about because I just went to an event the week before and there was a lot of people there, dude. And it was in the middle of the day.
Really?
It was like, it was a 1 o'clock thing and there were tons of people there. And it would have been 1.5 times the people that it took the room we got would have been, that crowd would have overflowed the room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a very full room.
Yeah. Did you happen to see the video? Did you happen to see the breaking news right before the oh, do I still have it? The breaking news right before the State of the Union?
No.
I posted it on the Politics show, and I posted it as a short to my. Let's play this before we get into the meat of this thing real quick.
It's not clear what may have been taken, and no arrests have been made.
A 71-year-old man is accused of inappropriately touching a 12-year-old girl at the Walmart in West Mifflin Sunday afternoon.
So that's what Joe Biden's been up to. All right, let's bring him in. And
That is president in fairest, safest election in history. Da, comrade.
remember when Pelosi tore up
Oh yeah.
Trump's speech?
See, I've got a stack of paper here. I was going to do that with, and you just blew the gag. I was going to wait till the end of the thing.
The former Vice President of the United States.
Oh, there's Vice President Spit Roast right behind him. Spit Roast and the Lemon Sucker. Did you just chop the audio for the applause?
No. You should be getting that.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, General. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you. Please. Thank you so much. Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, members of Congress and the Cabinet, Justices of the Supreme Court, my fellow Americans. Last year, COVID-19 kept us apart. This year, we're finally together again.
I'm going to take my first point of order right there. The government kept us apart.
Tonight, we meet as Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, but most importantly, as Americans, with the duty to one another, to America, to the American people, to the Constitution, and an unwavering resolve that freedom will always triumph over tyranny.
Wait, did he just say the truckers were right?
Do what, Chris?
Did he just say the truckers were right? Freedom will triumph over tyranny?
Yeah.
6 days ago, Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead, he met with a wall of strength he never anticipated or imagined. He met the Ukrainian people. And President Zelensky, to every Ukrainian, their fearlessness, their courage, their determination literally inspires the world. Groups of citizens blocking tanks with their bodies, everyone from students to retirees to teachers, turned soldiers defending their homeland. And in this struggle, President Zelensky said in his speech to the European Parliament, "Light will win over darkness." The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States is here tonight, sitting with the First Lady. Let each of us, if you're able to stand and send an unmistakable signal to the world of Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She's bright, she's strong, and she's resolved.
You notice she just threw an Antifa fist, right?
Your audio's a bit low, Chris. Can you bump it up?
I could try.
Yes. We, the United States of America, stand with the Ukrainian people. Throughout our history, we've learned
better?
this lesson. When dictators do
Say it
not
again.
pay a price for their aggression, they cause more
hang on.
chaos. They keep moving, and the cost, the threats to America and America to the world keeps rising. That's why the NATO alliance was created, to secure peace and stability in Europe after World War II. The United States is a member, along with 29 other nations. It matters. American diplomacy matters. American resolve matters.
How's that?
Better.
Putin's latest attack on Ukraine was premeditated and totally unprovoked. He rejected repeated efforts at diplomacy. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond. He thought he could divide us at home, in this chamber, in this nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. We are ready. We are united, and that's what we did. We stayed united. We prepared extensively and carefully. We spent months building coalitions of other freedom-loving nations in Europe and the Americas, from America to the Asian and African continents, to confront Putin. Like many of you, I spent countless hours unifying our European allies. We shared with the world in advance.
I'm going to say the European
what we knew
allies are going to have
Putin
something to
was
say
planning,
about that.
and precisely how we would try to falsify and justify his aggression. We countered Russia's lies with the truth. And now that he's acted, the free world is holding him accountable, along with 27 members of the European Union, including France, Germany, Italy, as well as countries like the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and many others. Even Switzerland are inflicting pain on Russia and supporting the people of Ukraine. Putin is now isolated from the world more than he has ever been. Together,
I think they'll be okay as long as the French don't try to go in and help them, because they'll immediately surrender at that point.
Right. Yeah, the French have been supplying white flags.
together, along with our allies,
I
we
won't
are
get
right
into it now, but have you heard my story about the French dropping rifles?
We're cutting off
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
the international financial system, preventing Russia's central bank from defending the Russian ruble. Making Putin 600
You know, he's talking about these sanctions like he actually did something. The first round of sanctions were against Ukraine. Then he refused to block Russia from the SWIFT banking system. And it was only when London, Boris Johnson, acted and the rest of Europe followed Johnson's lead that America said, okay, we'll ban them from SWIFT.
war. The United States,
The Russian burble.
I mean it. The United States Department of Justice is assembling a dedicated task force to go after the crimes of the Russian oligarchs. We're joining with European allies to find and seize their yachts, their luxury apartments, their private jets. We're coming for your ill-begotten gains. And tonight, I'm announcing that we will join our allies in closing off American airspace to all Russian flights, further isolating Russia and adding additional squeeze on their economy. He has no idea what's coming. The ruble has already lost 30% of its value. The Russian stock market has lost 40% of its value.
Almost as much
trading
value as the
remains
dollar has
suspended.
lost over the last
The
year and a
Russian
bit.
economy is reeling, and Putin alone is the one to blame. Together with our allies, we're providing support to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom.
Yeah, it took
Military
an active
assistance,
war
economic
for
assistance,
Russia to suck
humanitarian
as bad as America under
giving more
Biden.
than $1 billion of direct assistance to Ukraine, and will continue to aid the Ukrainian people as they defend their country and help ease their suffering.
I heard one report today on Fox that Putin was bringing in extra food testers because he was concerned about
Worried about being
getting
poisoned.
Engage
Yes.
and will not engage in the conflict with Russian forces in Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies in the event that Putin decides to keep moving west. For that purpose, we have mobilized American ground forces, air squadrons, ship deployments to protect NATO countries including Poland, Romania, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. And as I've made crystal clear, the United States and our allies will defend every inch of territory that is NATO territory with the full force of our collective power. Every single inch. And we're clear-eyed. The Ukrainians are fighting back with pure courage. But the next few days, weeks, and months will be hard on them. Putin has unleashed violence and chaos. But while he may make gains on the battlefield, he'll pay a continuing high price over the long run. And a pound of Ukrainian people, the proud, proud people, pound for pound, ready to fight with every inch of energy they have. They've known 30 years of independence, have repeatedly shown that they will not tolerate anyone who tries to take their country backwards. To all Americans, I'll be honest with you, as I always promised I would be. A Russian dictator invading a foreign country has cost around the world. And I'm taking robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions is targeted at the Russian economy and that we use every tool at our disposal to protect American businesses and consumers. Tonight, I can announce the United States has worked with 30 other countries to release 60 million barrels of oil from reserves around the world. America will lead that effort, releasing 30 million barrels of our own strategic petroleum reserve. And we stand ready to do more if necessary, united with our allies. These steps will help blunt gas prices here at home, but I know news about what's happening can seem alarming to all Americans. But I want you to know we're going to be okay.
Oh, God, he's going to whisper. We're going to be
history
okay.
Of this era is written. Putin's war in Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. While it shouldn't, have taken something so terrible for people around the world to see what's at stake, now everyone sees it clearly. We see the unity among leaders of nations, a more unified Europe, a more unified West. We see unity among the people who are gathering in cities and large crowds around the world, even in Russia, to demonstrate their support for the people of Ukraine. In the battle between democracy and autocracies, democracies are rising to the moment, and the world is clearly choosing the side of peace and security. This is the real test.
He has to talk about the support for Ukraine numbers because he can't talk about his own numbers.
To our fellow Ukrainian Americans who forged the deep
high
bond that
estimate
connects
is
our two
37%.
nations, we stand with you. We stand with you.
Chris, double check what mic you're on. It doesn't sound to me like you're on your blue. Sounds like you're on the webcam mic.
He'll never extinguish their love of freedom, and he will never weaken the resolve of the free world.
How's that sound, Alex?
A lot better.
We meet tonight
10 times
in
better.
an America that has lived through two of the hardest years this nation has ever faced. The pandemic has been punishing, and so many families are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to keep up with the rising cost of food, gas, housing, and so much more. I understand, like many of you did. My dad had to leave his home in Scranton, Pennsylvania to find work. So like many of you, I grew up in a family when the price of food went up, it was felt throughout the family.
Like
It
now,
had an
then.
Impact. That's one of the first things I did as president was fight to pass the American Rescue Plan. Because people were hurting. We needed to act, and we did. Few pieces of legislation have done more at a critical moment in our history to lift us out of a crisis. It fueled our efforts to vaccinate the nation and combat COVID-19, delivered immediate economic relief to tens of millions of Americans, It helped put food on the table. Remember those long lines of cars waiting for hours just to get a box of food put in their trunk? It cut the cost of health care insurance. And as my dad used to say, it gave the people just a little bit of breathing room. Unlike the $2 trillion tax cut passed in the previous administration that benefited the top 1% of Americans, the American Rescue Plan
Oh,
helped
chuckles.
working people
Almost,
and left
buddy.
no one behind.
There you go.
What the hell, guys? We're supposed to clap for the. Oh, I forgot he was stupid.
It worked. We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs.
See, there's the lie. There's the gaslighting. These were jobs that existed pre-COVID that people went back to after the government decided, hey, we can't lock you down any longer. Fuck this guy.
It hasn't worked for working people in this nation for too long.
Mr. Toad.
For the past 40 years, we were told the tax break for those at the top and benefits would trickle down and everyone would benefit. But that trickle-down theory led to a weaker economic growth, lower wages, bigger deficits, and a widening gap between the top and everyone else in nearly a century. Look, Vice President Harris and I ran for office, and I realize we have fundamental disagreements on this.
Look at those two morons behind him. Are they on drugs or what?
I think they've been sedated so they don't have to actually pay attention to this jackhole.
Because we know.
Well, Nancy might have a little too much blood in her vodka stream, and it's leaching off her denture glue. See, she's struggling with those dentures. She's too drunk to hold on to them. Fix the dent just ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, it can't handle that much vodka.
And airports on Earth, and now our infrastructure is ranked 13th in the world.
I'm gonna smoke right here.
We won't be able to compete for the jobs of the 21st century if we don't fix it. That's why it was so important to pass the bipartisan infrastructure law. And I thank my Republican friends who joined to invest and rebuild America. The single biggest
and
investment.
Don't remember those Republicans that joined this son of a whore and vote them out.
I want to thank the members of both
They're not your
parties who worked to
friends.
make it happen. We're done talking about infrastructure weeks. We're now talking about an infrastructure decade. And look, it's going to transform America, to put us on a path to win the economic competition of the 21st century that we face with the rest of the world, particularly China. I've told Xi Jinping it's never been a good bet to bet against the American people. We'll create good jobs for millions of Americans, modernizing roads, airports, ports, waterways, all across America. And we'll do it to withstand the devastating effects of climate change and promote environmental justice. We'll build a national network of 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Begin to replace the poisonous lead pipes so every child, every American has clean water to drink at home and at school. We're going to provide affordable, high-speed internet for every American, rural, suburban, urban, and tribal communities. 4,000 projects have already been announced. Many of you have announced them in your districts. And tonight, I'm announcing that this year, we will start fixing
is Chris peeing off the porch again?
miles of highway and 1,500 bridges in disrepair. And folks, when we use taxpayers' dollars to rebuild America,
this isn't a drinking event. Catch me pissing in the bushes on the 17th.
Buy American products. Support American jobs. The federal government spends about $600 billion a year to keep this country safe and secure. There's been a law on the books for almost a century to make sure taxpayers' dollars support American jobs and businesses. Every administration, Democrat and Republican, says they'll do it, but we're actually doing it. We'll buy America to make sure everything from the deck of an aircraft
Except energy.
to the steel on highway guardrails.
We won't buy American energy. We'll shut that down, be dependent on Russia, and give them $80 billion a year.
Well, no, I mean, Joe's saying buy American. It's just like when he reinstated Trump's stay in Mexico policy and reinstated, what was the other one that he just had to reinstate? Oh, the sanctions on the German oil pipeline. The several other things that he's reinstated. He's going to have to reinstate America first.
Yes, he is.
Before the Chinese just eat our fucking lunch.
In Congress that will make record investments in emerging technologies and American manufacturing. We used to invest almost 2% of our GDP in research and development. We don't now. China is. Let me give you one example why it's so important to pass. If you travel 20 miles east of Columbus, Ohio, you'll find 1,000 empty acres of land. It won't look like much, but if you stop and look closely, you'll see a field of dreams, the ground on which America's future will be built. That's where Intel, the American company that helped build Silicon Valley, is going to build a $20 billion semiconductor megasite, up to 8 state-of-the-art factories in one place.
8 state-of-the-art factories.
10,000 new jobs. And in those factories, the average job about $135,000 a year. Some of the most sophisticated manufacturing in the world to make computer chips the size of a fingertip that power the world in everyday lives. From smartphones, technology, the internet, technology that's yet to be invented. But that's just the beginning. Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger, who is here tonight, I don't know where Pat is. Pat, there you go, Pat, stand up.
So Intel's getting their ass handed to them by AMD at the moment. This must be the genius marketing ploy they came up with to try and dig themselves out of that pit.
Pat came to see me and he told me they're ready to increase their investment from $20 billion to $100 billion. That would be the biggest investment in manufacturing in American history. And all they're waiting for is for you to pass this bill. So let's not wait any longer. Send it to my desk. I'll sign it. And we'll really take off.
So Intel's holding America to ransom now. They have this money. They're willing to invest it, but will only invest it if you pass this Green New Deal.
There's something happening in America.
Buy AMD. Fuck
Just
Intel.
look around and you'll see an amazing story. The rebirth of pride that comes from stamping products made in America. The revitalization of American manufacturing.
This sounds just like Trump.
Factories here, when just a few years ago they would have gone overseas. That's what's happening.
Well, he has to. Trump-supported Republicans are about to eat his lunch in the midterms.
Yeah.
Creating 11,000 jobs across the country.
Gaslighting all night.
GM is making the largest investment in its history. $7 billion to build electric vehicles, creating 4,000 jobs in Michigan. All told, 300.
How bad does she not want to be there?
Jobs were created in America last year alone. Folks, powered by people I've met like JoJo Burgess.
That's Cleveland.
Generations of union steelworkers in Pittsburgh. Who's here with us tonight? Where are you, JoJo? There you go. Thanks, buddy. As Ohio...
It's me, Cleveland.
As Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown says... As Sherrod Brown says, it's time to bury the label Rust Belt. It's time to see what used to be called the Rust Belt become the home of a significant resurgence of manufacturing. And with all the bright spots in our economy, record job growth, higher wages, too many families are struggling to keep up with their bills. Inflation,
It doesn't
was
matter.
robbing
You
them
can't
of
remember.
gains they thought otherwise.
Didn't
they
he
would
just
be
a
able to
minute ago say how well the economy was and
Yeah.
nobody was struggling?
Yeah.
And now we're struggling.
Yeah.
10 minutes later, we're struggling.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hadn't even addressed the one thing people want him to talk about, which is fighting inflation.
had a hard time hiring enough people because of the pandemic to keep up production in their factories. So you didn't have people making those beams that went into buildings because they were out. The factory was closed. The panic also disrupted the global supply chain.
Making those
Factories
beans. Got to make
closed.
those beans.
When that happens, it takes longer to make goods and get them to the warehouses, to the stores, and prices go up. Look at cars last year.
He's right. The
1/3 of
supply
all
chain
the
was
inflation was
disrupted.
because
And
of
then the
automobile sales.
Secretary of
There weren't enough semiconductors
Transportation
to make
went
all the
on
cars that people
paternity
wanted to
leave
buy.
for 3 months.
And guess
Yeah.
what? Prices of automobiles went way up.
Beans into buildings,
Especially
brother.
used
That's
vehicles
right.
As well. And so we have a choice. One way to fight inflation.
It's like Kamala Harris said, you got what you voted for. Anybody else see that soundbite?
Oh, I'm going to be playing with that
That
a lot.
disastrous soundbite. Oh, that's going to be every Republican campaign ad from here until November.
Yep.
That means.
Al, did you hear when she explained on the morning show about what was going on in Ukraine?
Yeah. Yeah, I
She
post.
said, there's this big country called Russia, and this little country called the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And this big country invaded this little country. I swear to God, it was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I know. I have it up on the YouTube channel.
I thought it was a joke, just like the Candace Taylor interview, but it was real.
It was real.
Economists call this increasing the productive capacity of our economy. I call it building a better America.
Shouldn't he be calling it building back better?
To fight inflation will lower your costs and lower the deficit. 17 Nobel laureates in economics said my plan will ease long-term inflationary pressures. Top business leaders, and I believe most Americans support the plan. And here's the plan. First, cut the cost of prescription drugs.
The top business leaders and I believe most Americans support the plan. They haven't asked most Americans.
Produced by the same company in America than any other country in the world.
I guess November will decide whether most Americans support that plan.
Well, no, then they will have voted the way they voted because they were still delusional for COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
He and his dad both have type 1 diabetes, which means they need insulin every single day. Insulin costs about $10 a vial to make.
His name's
That's
Tina.
what it costs the pharmaceutical company. But drug companies charge families like Joshua and his dad up to 30 times that amount. I spoke with Joshua's mom. Imagine what it's like to look at your child who needs insulin to stay healthy and have no idea how in God's name you're going to be able to pay for it. What it does to your family, but what it does to your dignity, your ability to look your child in the eye, to be the parent you expect yourself to be. I really mean to think about that. That's what I think about. You know,
Alex, you do remember whose daughter raised the price of the EpiPen about 1,000% a few years ago, right?
No, whose was that?
Joe Manchin's daughter.
Was it?
Yeah.
200,000 other young people with type 1 diabetes. Let's cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month. So everyone can afford it. And drug companies will do very, very well, their profit margin. While we're at it, I know we have great disagreements on this floor with this. Let's let Medicare negotiate the price of prescription drugs.
There's no substance to this whatsoever. Steve just said it's the most hollow State of the Union I can recall. There's no substance to this. It's all symbolism. It's all virtue signaling. It's talking points, right? He's stumping right here.
A year on their health premiums. Let's
Oh,
close the
premium
coverage
amendments.
gap and make these savings permanent. And second, let's cut energy costs for families.
The coverage
An
gap.
average
There's
of
a wage
$500
gap.
year
There's a
by
wealth
combating
gap, and now we have a
climate change.
coverage
Let's
gap.
provide
Jesus
investment
fucking
tax credits
Christ.
to weatherize your home and your business, to be energy efficient, and get a tax credit for it.
I'll
Double
talk about the
America's clean
coverage
energy
gap later.
production in solar, wind, and so
That
much
is the
more.
thing, and it's a
Lower the
thing
price
that's
of electric
caused
vehicles,
by
saving another
government
$80 a month
regulation.
that you're not going to have to pay at the pump. Folks, the third thing we can do to change the standard of living for hardworking folks
Corn Pop is a
is cut the
bad
cost
dude.
of child care. Cut the cost of child care.
Just drop them all off at the White House. Joe will keep them entertained. He'll diddle your kids while you're at work.
In America, you pay up to $14,000 a year for child care per child. I was a single dad for 5 years, raising 2 kids. I had a lot of help, though. I had a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister that really helped. But middle class and working folks shouldn't have to pay more than 7% of their income to care for the young children. My plan would cut the cost of child care in half for most families and help parents, including millions of women who left the workforce during the pandemic because they couldn't afford child care, to be able to get back to work, generating economic growth. But my plan doesn't stop there.
Childcare is a bargain, by the way. You know what the average cost per student is in the United States for our public schools?
All these will lower costs to families.
$22,000 per year per kid.
Nobody, let me say this again, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in new taxes. Not a single penny. I may be wrong, but my guess is if we took a secret ballot in this floor, that we'd all agree that the present tax system ain't fair. We have to fix it. I'm not looking to punish anybody, but let's make corporations and wealthy Americans start paying their fair share. Look, last year,
Let's talk about bringing back manufacturing. Let's talk about boosting our economy. And then let's talk about sticking it to the people that actually do that.
and my distinguished Congresswoman, we come from the land of corporate America. There are more corporations incorporated in America than every other state in America combined. And I still won 36 years in a row. The point is, even they understand they should pay just a fair
What's up,
share.
Scott?
Last year, 55 of the Fortune 500 companies earned $40 billion in profit and paid zero in federal taxes. Now look, it's not fair. That's why I proposed a 15% minimum tax rate for corporations. And that's why in the G7 and other meetings overseas, we're able to put together, I was able to be somewhat helpful, 130 countries agree on a global minimum tax rate. So companies can't get out of paying their taxes at home by shipping jobs and factories overseas. It'll raise billions of dollars. That's why I propose closing loopholes for the very wealthy who pay a lower tax rate than a teacher and a firefighter. So that's my plan, but we'll go more detail later. We will grow the
Because
economy.
we don't want to bother you with pesky details.
So what are we waiting for? Let's get this done. We all know we've got to make changes. Folks,
He's literally up there complaining about the economy that he created.
which plays a critical role in fighting inflation. My plan will not only lower costs and give families a fair shot, it will lower the deficit. The previous administration not only ballooned the deficit with those tax cuts for the very wealthy and corporations, it undermined the watchdogs, the job of those to keep pandemic relief funds being wasted. Remember we had those debates about whether or not those watchdogs should be able to see every day how much money was being spent, where was it going to the right place? But in my administration, the watchdogs are back. And we're going to go after the criminals who stole billions of relief money meant for small business and millions of Americans. Tonight, I'm announcing that the Justice Department will soon name...
Boy, we dodged a bullet with that motherfucker right there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So Joe, those all that COVID relief money that was stolen, you gonna go after the BLM guys that stole over $1 billion in COVID relief?
Right.
By the end of this year, the deficit will be down to less than half of what it was before I took office. The only president ever reduced the deficit by more than $1 trillion in a single year.
I don't know how he can say that.
Also meant demanding more competition. I'm a capitalist, but capitalism without competition is not capitalism. Capitalism without competition is exploitation. It drives up
Which
profits.
is why you're up here talking about price fixing, you commie cunt.
And corporations have to compete.
You call me cunt. There you go.
Go up when they don't have to compete. Small businesses and family farmers and ranchers.
I'm sorry about the F-bombs, guys. I forgot we were here with Larry instead of Danny.
Guess what? 4 basic meat packing.
Did I miss anything other than Chris cussing?
You play with them.
Basically nothing. This guy lied. This guy just sat there and told us. This guy just sat there and told us that our deficit will be cut in half compared to what it was when he took office.
By the end of this year.
By the end of this year.
Companies raised prices by as much as 1,000% and made record profits. Tonight, I'm announcing a crackdown on those companies overcharging American businesses and consumers. And folks, and as Wall Street firms take over more nursing homes, quality in those homes has gone down and costs have gone up. That ends on my watch. Medicare is going to set higher standards for nursing homes and make sure your loved ones get the care they deserve and that they inspect and they will look at closely.
Just make sure no Cuomo is in charge of any nursing homes.
That's right. That's right. I'm here to announce that former New York Governor Cuomo will be in charge of this this fucking refurb of the nursing homes.
Raise the minimum wage.
Vote Democrat, because after we're done killing all the babies and old people, we're coming for you next.
So no one has to raise a family in poverty. Let's increase Pell Grants, increase our historic support for HBCUs. And invest in what Jill, our First Lady who teaches full-time, calls America's best-kept secret, community colleges. Look, let's pass the PRO Act. When a majority of workers want to form a union, they shouldn't be able to be stopped. When we invest in our workers and we build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out together, we can do something we haven't done in a long time. Build a better America. For more than 2 years, COVID has impacted every decision in our lives and the life of this nation. And I know you're tired, frustrated, and exhausted. That doesn't even count.
I am now.
Close to 1 million people who sit at a dining room table or a kitchen table and look at an empty chair because they lost somebody. But I also know this. Because of the progress we've made, because of your resilience and the tools that we have been provided by this Congress, tonight I can say we're moving forward safely back to more normal routines. We've reached a new moment in the fight against COVID-19, where severe cases are down to a level not seen since July of last year.
Was the lady they just showed, wasn't she 1/100th of a Cherokee Indian?
Well, why not? Yeah. I mean, got a full scholarship. Got a full scholarship for being an Indian.
And a
based
job.
on projections.
She was hired as a professor at university based on her claim that she was Native American. She was a minority hire, a diversity hire, based on that lie. 1/1024.
1/10/24.
Tonight, I say that we never will just accept living with COVID-19. We'll continue to combat the virus as we do other diseases. And because this virus mutates and spreads, we have to stay on guard. And here are 4 common sense steps as we move forward safely, in my view. First, stay protected with vaccines and treatments. We know how incredibly effective vaccines are. If you're vaccinated and boosted, you have the highest degree of protection. We'll never give up on vaccinating more Americans.
How many in this
Now, I know
room
parents with
had
kids
the
under
vaccine and got COVID? Raise your hand.
I did not have the vaccine, but I have had COVID, I think. And what he just said is medical misinformation. The science says that the natural immunity from having had COVID is far stronger than anything you can get from the COVID vaccines. That's not in debate.
Pills than anyone in the world has.
YouTube will disagree with that.
Overtime to get us 1 million pills this month and more than double that
No,
next
it won't
month.
actually.
And now we're
I've
launching the
object
test
on that one.
to treat.
I've had to file that
initiative.
claim.
So people can get tested at a pharmacy, and if they prove positive, receive the antiviral pills on the spot at no cost.
I love that, at no cost. There's absolutely a cost.
If you're
Yes.
If you're immunocompromised or have some other vulnerability, we have treatments and free high-quality masks. We're leaving no one behind or ignoring anyone's needs as we move forward. On testing, we've made hundreds of millions of tests available, and you can order them for free to your doorstep. And we've already ordered free tests. If you already ordered free tests tonight, I'm announcing you can order another group
Hey,
of
Cindy.
tests.
Didn't see you there.
Go to covidtest.gov starting next week, and you can get more tests. Second, we must prepare for new variants. Over the past, we've gotten much better at detecting new variants. If necessary, we'll be able to develop new vaccines within 100 days instead of maybe months or years. And if Congress provides the funds we need, we'll have new stockpiles of tests, masks, pills ready if needed. I can't promise a new variant won't come.
Hey, Hans, what's up,
but
bro?
I can promise you.
This from the guy
we'll do
that said you
everything
can't
within our power
develop
to
a vaccine before the election, Donald Trump.
Yeah, from the same party that said they'll never take that vaccine because it was Trump's vaccine.
We can end the shutdown of schools and businesses. We have the tools we need. It's time for America to get back to work and fill our great downtowns again with people. People working from home can feel safe and begin to return to their offices. We're doing that here in the federal government. The vast majority of federal workers will once again work in person. Our schools are open. Let's keep it that way. Our kids need to be in school.
So I'll talk about it after. Well, I'll talk about it now while they're clapping this imbecile. I'm due a booster in March, and I'm on the fence as to whether I'll get it.
Down by 77%.
Tell me in the chat.
Most Americans can remove
Alex,
their mask
I got the booster and still got COVID.
forward safely.
I mean, I had 3 shots in COVID. I'm done.
I figure
No
I'm
more
about
shots.
I figure I'm about as inoculated as I'm going to get. 2 shots and COVID
Well, not
twice.
surprise you. I'll be back to see you all. And I'm going to soon send a request to Congress. The vast majority of Americans have used these tools and may want again. We may need them again. So I expect Congress, and I hope you'll pass that quickly. Fourth, we'll continue vaccinating the world. We've sent 475 million vaccine doses to 112 countries, more than any nation on earth. We won't stop because you can't build a wall high enough to keep out a vaccine. The vaccine can stop the spread of these diseases. You know, we've lost so much in COVID-19.
Who wrote that? Who fucking wrote that? Who put the
This moment to reset.
It's hard to tell what they really wrote and what he read.
Yeah, that's true.
See it for what it
Surely
is.
nobody would put him up there on the stump
Let's stop
to talk about
seeing
building
each other as
walls.
enemies and start seeing each other for who we are, fellow Americans.
Maxine looks
Look,
comatose.
we can't change how divided we've been. It was a long time in coming. But we can change how to move forward on COVID-19
walnut.
and other issues that we must face together. I recently visited New York City Police Department days after the funerals of Officer Wilbur Mora and his partner, Officer Jason Rivera. They were responding to a 9/11 call when a man shot and killed them.
A 9/11 call?
Officer Moore was 27 years old. Officer Rivera was 22 years old. Both Dominican Americans who grew up in the same streets that they later chose to patrol as police officers.
They so they have parole.
Yeah.
I told them that we were forever in debt for their sacrifices and will carry on their mission to restore the trust and safety of every community deserves. Like some of you that have been around for a while, I've worked with you.
That was the Madame Tussauds, Maxine Waters.
I know it works.
Yeah, she looked comatose.
Crime prevention and community policing, cops who walk the beat, who know the neighborhood.
Now they're going to lecture us
restore
on
trust and
crime.
safety.
Come on.
Let's not abandon our streets or choose between safety and equal justice.
Come
Let's come together and
on.
protect our communities, restore trust, and hold law
So
enforcement
he's talking about
accountable.
crime tonight and
That's what
building
the
a
Justice
wall,
Department
right?
has
Yeah,
required.
literally talking about crime when we're experiencing the highest crime rates that we've ever seen, and progressive policies are the absolute cause.
States and counties can use to hire more police, invest in more proven strategies. Proven strategies like letting rapists walk the streets. Strategies like community violence interruption, trusted messengers, breaking the cycle of violence and trauma, and giving young people some hope. We should all agree the answer is not to defund the police, it's to fund the police. Fund them. Fund them.
He's in full-on campaign mode right now. He doesn't believe anything he's actually saying at the moment.
Just think about it. Didn't at least one of those two bozos behind him talk about defunding the police?
Kamala Harris, she donated money to get a criminal released on bail.
I thought so.
No, not to get a criminal released on bail. She donated money to a fundraising
To a fund to
organization
get bunches, that's right, get bunches of them released.
that released bunches of them, released them en masse.
Here we go, ghost guns, ghost guns.
Why should anyone on the terrorist
Lucy
list
McBath, is she going to keep her seat, Larry?
Lucy McBath, this is a great story, okay? Can't make this crap up. Lucy is going to go challenge Bordeaux, who is the 7th congressional congressman. Bordeaux, from what I understand, Hank Johnson has been ill with COVID, and they're not certain if he's going to run again. He's coming out of the COVID coma. And Bordeaux is supposed to be announcing soon. She's going to flip and go down in the 4th.
Okay.
So, yeah, McBath is not going to be congressman in the 6th. She's going to go up to the 7th and take on Bordeaux, and Bordeaux is going to exit and go to the 4th.
Interesting.
have it counted?
Maybe I should run against Hank just to make some noise.
They're saying Hank's not going to run.
Not only suppress the vote, we've been there before, but to subvert the entire election.
Alex, I've been told.
Whoa, hold on a minute.
Republicans.
Yeah, he's talking about elections.
The Vote Act, pass the John Lewis Act, Voting Rights Act. And while you're at it, pass the Disclose Act so Americans know who's funding our election. Look, tonight, I like to honor someone who dedicated his life to serve this country. Justice Breyer, an Army veteran, constitutional scholar, retiring Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Justice Breyer, thank you for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean it. Get up, stand, let them see you. Thank you.
Does that mean Guam is safe? Hank's not running again. Does that mean Guam is safe? Must be, because Hank wouldn't walk away from Guam unless he knew it wasn't going to tip over.
Alex, I've been told that we may have up to 4 Republicans run in that primary this year.
How many? 4?
4 Republicans. There may be a possibility of 4 Republicans running in that 4th district primary. Of course, none of them live in the 4th district.
Right. Why would they?
who continue in Justice Breyer's legacy of excellence. A former top litigator in private practice, a former federal public defender, from a family of public school educators and police officers. She's a consensus builder.
And one of the most overturned judges on the federal bench.
Order of police and former judges appointed by...
Did you know that, Chris? This lady he just nominated to the court, one of the most reversed judges we've ever seen.
Our border and fix the immigration system.
Oh yeah, Justice Black Girl Magic.
Mm-hmm.
And as you might guess, I think we can do both. At our border, we've installed new technology like cutting-edge scanners to better detect drug smuggling. We've set up joint patrols with Mexico.
Well, who knew?
Check out drug dealers because he moved all the border patrol to Ukraine.
Who knew that there was a drug smuggling scanner?
Persecution and violence can have their curses.
That must be that new technology he was talking about Intel developing.
We're screening, we're securing commitments and supporting partners in South and Central America to host more refugees and secure their own borders. We can do all this while keeping lit the torch of liberty that has led a generation of immigrants to this land, my forebears and many of yours. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those with temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Revise our laws so businesses have workers they need and families don't wait decades to reunite. It's not only the right thing to do, it's economically smart thing to do. That's why the immigration reform is supported by everyone from labor unions to religious leaders to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Let's get it done once and for all.
Yeah, I don't think they support the kind of immigration reform that Joe's talking about, though.
Advancing liberty and justice also requires protecting the rights of women. The constitutional right affirmed by Roe v. Wade, standing precedent for half a century, is under attack as never before. If you want to go forward, not backwards, we must protect access to health care, preserve a woman's right to choose, and continue to advance maternal health care for all Americans.
Maternal health care for all Americans. That includes us three here, fellas.
For our LGBTQ plus Americans, let's finally get the Bipartisan Equality Act to my desk. The onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families. It's simply wrong. And I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential. Folks,
So maternal abortion is considered maternal health care. So killing unborn children is maternal health care.
To these guys, yeah.
I just want everybody to know that's what he just said. That terminating unborn children is maternal health care. Just want to get
Correct.
that
common hate crimes.
And executing terrorists should be part of my disabled veterans benefit package.
That I first wrote 3 decades
It
ago.
is the same logic.
It's important. It's important for us to show the nation we can come together and do big things. So tonight I'm offering a unity agenda for the nation. 4 big things we can do together, in my view. First, beat the opioid epidemic. There's so much we can do. Increase funding for prevention, treatment, harm reduction, and recovery. Get rid of outdated rules and stop doctors.
Harm reduction is the crack pipes plan that we talked about before.
Stop
The number
flow of
one thing you
illicit
can do
drugs
is
by
close
working
the
with state
fucking
and local
border.
law enforcement to go after the traffickers. And if you're suffering from addiction, you should know you're not alone. I believe in recovery, and I celebrate the 23 million Americans in recovery. Second,
I stand with those in recovery. That's going to be the next color bracelet. Unity with those in recovery.
Down. The American Rescue Plan gave schools money to hire teachers and help students make up for lost learning. I urge every parent.
Let me ask you, when
to
he
make
says
sure
that
your
we
school
celebrate those in recovery,
just
you don't
right.
want to be the person they pan to at that point, right?
Yeah, no, you really don't.
Sign up to be a tutor or a mentor. Children were also struggling before the pandemic, bullying, violence, trauma, and the harms of social media. As Frances Haugen, who is here tonight with us, has shown, we must hold social media platforms accountable for the national experiment they're conducting on our children for profit. Folks, thank you. Thank you for the courage you showed. It's time to strengthen privacy protections, ban targeted advertising to children, demand tech companies stop collecting personal data on our children, and let's get all Americans the mental health services they need. More people can turn for help and full parity between physical and mental health care if we treat it that way in our insurance. Look, the third piece of that agenda is support our veterans. Veterans are the backbone and the spine of this country. They're the best of us. I've always believed that we have a sacred obligation to equip those we send to war and care for those in their family when they come home. My administration is providing assistance in job training, housing, and now helping lower-income veterans get VA care debt-free. And our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan have faced many dangers, one being stationed at bases breathing in toxic smoke from burn pits. Many of you have been there. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 40 times. These burn pits that incinerate waste, the waste of war, medical and hazardous material, jet fuel, and so much more. And they come home, many of the world's fittest and best trained warriors in the world, never the same. Headaches, numbness, dizziness, a cancer that would put them in a flag-draped coffin. I know. One of those soldiers was my son, Major Bo Biden. I don't know for sure if the burn pit that he lived near, that his hooch was near in Iraq and earlier than that in Kosovo, is the cause of his brain cancer, the disease of so many other troops. But I am committed to find out everything we can, committed to military families like Danielle Robinson from Ohio,
You
the widow
should
of
be
Sergeant
committed.
First Class
That
Heath
brain disease
Robinson.
is hereditary, you
He was born
cock-gobbling son of a bitch.
Army National Guard, combat medic in Kosovo and Iraq, stationed near Baghdad, just yards.
The only veteran that Joe Biden's ever supported was Bo Bergdahl.
They loved going to Ohio State football games.
Remember that guy,
He
Chris?
ordered his wife right into the crack fiends. But I gotta smoke.
That's an annoyed veteran you just saw walking off a camera there.
And he loved building Legos with their daughter.
Oh my God.
But cancer from prolonged exposure to burn pits ravaged Heath's lungs and body. Danielle says Heath was a fighter to the very end. He didn't know how to stop fighting, and neither did she. Through her pain, she found purpose to demand that we do better. Tonight, Danielle, we are going to do better. The VA is pioneering new ways of linking toxic exposure to disease. Already
The
helping
only
more
reason we were still in Afghanistan for this son of a whore to fuck up a pullout is because he and the Obama administration actively worked to create ISIS and fund the IED manufacturers that I had to fucking hunt across that shitscape. That's why this fucking...
And fourth and last, let's end cancer as we know it.
There he goes with his "I'm going to cure cancer" bullshit again.
This is personal to me and to Jill and to Kamala and so many of you. So many of you have lost someone you love. Husband, wife, son, daughter, mom, dad. Cancer is the #2 cause of death in America, second only to heart disease. Last month, I announced the plan to supercharge the cancer moonshot that President Obama asked me to lead 6 years ago. Our goal is to cut cancer death rates by at least 50% over the next 25 years. I think we can do better than that. Turn cancers from death sentences into treatable diseases. More support for patients and their families. To get there, I call on Congress to fund what I called ARPA-H, Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, patterned after DARPA.
ARPA.
Department. Projects that led in DARPA to the internet, GPS,
ARPA.
and so much more to make our forces more safer and be able to wage war with more clarity. ARPA will have a singular purpose: to drive breakthroughs in cancer, Alzheimer's and diabetes, and more. A unity agenda for the nation. We can do
How did
these
we get
things.
from this
It's
and
within
military
our power.
troops? How did that go together?
I have no idea.
You
I
heard
guess
that,
talking.
right?
I guess talking about veterans' health care to curing cancer.
In lieu of a
I mean, but he
secular,
was
we
merging
chose
that a
a
second
cognitive
ago. I have
decline.
no idea.
Chris, your volume's still super low, bud.
Generation
Damn,
after
I don't-
generation of Americans have debated great questions, made great strife, and have done great things. We fought for freedom, expanded liberty,
You're on the right mic. It's just super low.
and terror. We built the strongest,
I don't know
freest,
if I
and
can
most
turn
prosperous
the
nation
volume
the
up.
world has ever known.
It went up there.
Now is the hour. Our moment of responsibility. Our test of resolve and conscience, of history itself. It is in this moment that our character of this generation is formed. Our purpose is found. Our future is forged. Well, I know this nation. We'll meet the test, protect freedom and liberty, expand fairness and opportunity, and we will save democracy. As hard as those times have been, I'm more optimistic about America today than I've been my whole life, because I see the future that's within our grasp, because I know there's simply nothing beyond our capacity.
Mitch looks like a stoned frog.
Turned every crisis we faced into an opportunity. The only nation that can be defined by a single word: possibilities. So on this night, on our 245th year as a nation, I've come to report on the state of the nation, the State of the Union.
Oh, he
And
fucked
my
it up.
report is this:
He fucked up his big
State of the Union
ending.
is strong because you, the American people, are strong. We are stronger today. We are stronger today than we were a year ago. And we'll be stronger a year from now than we are today.
Yeah, we will.
This
After
is our
November,
moment
fuck yeah, we will.
to meet and overcome the challenges of our time. And we will, as one people, one America, the United States of America. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you. Go get him.
Go get
get
it. Go get who?
He's talking about
The
Putin.
fuck is he talking about? Putin? Is that what he's talking about?
That's what he's referring to. Yeah, go get him.
Go get him. Hey, I want to remind.
It's not going to be us that goes and gets him. It's going to be those damn French.
Right.
I think this is the war they don't surrender.
Yeah,
I think this is it.
yeah. Let's remind people of this real
Be able to have
quick.
transparency, be able to have access to the records of police when they have misconduct charges against them, to be able to know where they are so they can't go from one police department to the next. That should be held in my administration. That information will have to be made available to the Justice Department and held in a file so you'll be able to track this. Surplus military equipment for law enforcement. They don't need that. The last thing you need is an up-armored Humvee coming into a neighborhood. It's like the military invading. They don't know anybody. They become the enemy. They're supposed to be protecting these people. So my generic point is
But
that...
do we agree that we can redirect some of the funding?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that we also need to be doing is fundamentally
Just
changing the way...
Just wanted to remind people that that is actually Joe Biden's stance on law enforcement, not the bullshit that we heard tonight. I said I expect an awful lot of gaslighting. I'm going to say we got an awful lot of gaslighting tonight. What do you think?
As a matter of fact, yeah, I mean, Joe said he was on board for the defund the police, and then he had to walk that back and clarify it. That's why they did that interview that you were just showing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Joe will support whatever position he thinks will get him the polling he needs.
Right. It's absolutely right.
Airborne.
He's that man right there. What you're looking at right there is in my opinion, a traitor to America right there. The General Milley I'm talking about. Biden, he's just a sack of shit. General Milley is a traitor to America. I can't believe he has the audacity to show his face in the... Well, actually, I can believe it because he's so far up Biden's ass, it's not even funny.
That's a dude there with the purple hair, right?
Where? Oh.
Just hugged the eggplant.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so. I'm not entirely sure. That is holy shit. That person did not grow out of the Peacock 70s era. What do you think, fellas? You think the State of the Union's strong with this man at the helm? think we're doing all right here? I mean, he convinced me. Gotta tell you, I'm feeling a lot better. I imagine I'm going to go fill up my car tomorrow, and it's going to cost half the price it did a week ago. The way he's talking about how great America is. Or is that the delusion he was referring to earlier? I'm going to play that video again for the
delusion of COVID.
Yeah, a couple of videos for people that missed it. Breaking news happened right before the State of the Union.
It's not clear what may have been taken, and no arrests have been made.
A 71-year-old man is accused of inappropriately touching a 12-year-old girl at the Walmart.
That's what Joe Biden. That's what Joe Biden was doing. Yeah, listen to this. Listen to this bullshit, Larry. I don't know if you've heard this.
Is a phenomenal negative psychological impact that COVID has had on the public psyche, and so you have an awful lot of people who are, notwithstanding the fact that things have gotten so much better for them economically, that they are thinking, but how do you get up in the morning feeling happy? Right. Happy that everything's all right?
Apparently, we're all suffering first from some COVID-induced psychological disorder that makes us believe the economy is in the shitter, when in fact, it's the best economy we've ever seen. We're imagining.
Am I just imagining gas went from $1.79 to $3.59?
We're imagining inflation. It's imaginary.
So gas is not really $3.59.
I mean that's what this man believes.
You know, Al, there's those guys that push this nonsense that life isn't real, that somehow and the world that we live in isn't real, that it's your mind is making this reality. Right. So I guess that's Joe Biden's kind of take on it. Yeah, he's in his own echo chamber. He exists in his own fucking echo chamber. I mean, it's very apparent that, I just talked to an individual, before we were getting ready to come on, and I was trying to figure everything out, and my stuff wasn't working right. But, he was talking about, he's going through a divorce, and he's going to have to sell his house, and him and his wife and this and that. And he was telling me he was looking for another place to live. And he was just saying that any place that he found that he was really wanting to do was like $1,800, $2,000 a month. When like last year and a half ago, that same thing would have been about $1,200 or $1,300.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so is he imagining that he's going to have to spend $2,000 because he doesn't want to buy anything right now?
Yeah, I mean,
he said that would be crazy because even if he sells his house, he's going to get more than whatever, and they split the money. He said, it doesn't make sense for him to buy anything, and he said he's just going to wait for the housing market to crash.
Good night, Patrick. Yeah, no, it's a COVID-induced psychosis. Obviously, we heard it from the man himself. He wouldn't lie to us, would he? Would he lie to us, Chris?
You mean the plagiarist in chief?
Yeah. Would that man lie to us?
Well, I'm going to ask you, and this is a serious question. Do you think he's aware that he's lying to you?
Yes. Oh, yeah, fully, I think. Good night, Scott. Thanks, brother. See ya.
I question that. I question whether he's actually aware that he's lying to you.
You really think so?
Really
I don't think he's. I know he's lost, I think, some of his faculties. I don't think he's at that point.
Let me tell you, I went and got my physical this week. Let me tell you what my doctor said. My doctor had me cracking up. My doctor told me, he said that in his line of work, it's not popular to be a conservative like he is, right? So the doc admitted to him he's a conservative. And he said that that Joe Biden was the closest thing to a walking corpse that he's ever seen in his life.
Mm-hmm.
He said that there's definitely something seriously wrong with his mental capacity. He said he felt that if this would be any other kind of thing other than what they're doing with him as president, that his caretakers, and he was serious about this, he said his caretakers would be prosecuted for elder abuse if it wasn't what they were doing with him right now.
Right.
So I do believe that he's not fully, I think he's going through the motion. He might not fully be aware of what's going on.
Well,
and I honestly don't think that he's gonna get to run again. Like I'm not worried about Joe Biden getting a second term because I don't think the party will let him run again.
I think they will let him run as long as they can keep fluids in that corpse and it upright, because they're doing everything they want to do with him in that White House, Chris. If he's not there, then whoever it really is behind the scenes running it won't be running it anymore. They really want him to be there because this is really a true weekend at Bernie's experience we have going on right now. That's what we have going on right now.
Joe's out there hugging and kissing on all the ladies, apparently.
You know how that goes.
Of course he is. Creepy little fucker. Unbelievable. All right, well, that's that.
Yeah, that's about all I'm good for tonight.
David Perdue Thursday, not on the show, at our or what Danielle likes to refer to as the Woman Haters Club meeting, the Republican Party meeting.
My wife refers to it as the back room meeting because where we meet, because of where the room's at in the back of a meeting, she says y'all go to the back room.
Yeah, keep an eye on all of the fact checking sites tomorrow. I'll be doing some
gold.
Listen, I was able to fact check his position on law enforcement in real time right there. Yep. You heard it out of his own mouth, his actual position on law enforcement. We're going to have some more of that Thursday night.
Alex, will they be critical of him or will he get the pass on all of
He'll get a pass. It's an election year. They're going to give him a pass. They may throw one or two things out there. But I mean, they let his lies about,
they will throw one. They'll pick at least one thing that's relatively minor,
right?
And they'll do a fact check. And what they'll do is they'll say he got this one wrong. Things are actually even better than he said.
Right. Yeah.
But that's going to be it. And they'll throw it out there as a fact check because it'll get clicks.
Yep.
And they'll run it as a fact check on claims on social media. This Candace Owens sued Facebook, and part of her claim wasn't just that the fact check was a function of defamation. But what happens with the fact checkers is those fact checks get run under your posts. So if you're somebody like Candace Owens who has a huge audience and your posts are monetized, if somebody else runs
Nice,
these
Sandy.
fact check ads, you see her post when you're scrolling. But if you click on the fact check and go read the fact check article, they're making ad revenue off of you going to see them, and you're not funneling ad revenue to her. So that's a major function of the whole fact check ecosystem, is stealing money from otherwise credible posters.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. It's well, again, tune into the Politics show on Thursday night. I'm pretty certain we'll have some fact checking for you.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure
and
we will.
We'll be live at 7:30 tomorrow morning on the Brushfire Mind.
Yep, BFM 7:30 tomorrow, and Larry this week from Rockdale Sunday at 8 p.m. You do have a show this Sunday, I assume?
Sunday at 8 p.m. Yes, I do. I will have a show at Sunday at 8 p.m. It'll be most interesting.
Excellent. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Sitting here through this nonsense. And gentlemen, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. A lot of fun again. And we stayed sober.
Yeah, that's a rarity when we're all three, when we cross the streams.
Yeah, it is. All right. Let's let everybody get back to their nights. See you guys. See you Thursday. Take it easy.
Good night.